Let's get started. When Disney cast Rachel Zegler as Snow White, they thought they were going full-on Ratatouille mode because she had just popped off in West Side Story, had the Disney princess look, and was ready to give Gen Z its own fairy tale icon. However, instead of a modern princess, we got the main character from a Twitter thread titled "How to Ruin a Studio in 10 Interviews or Less." Remember when Snow White was just about a girl vibing with animals and getting kissed in a coma? Well, that's not the case anymore. It's about political beef, viral flops, co-star drama, and somehow Donald Trump. Today we're talking about how Rachel Zegler fumbled Disney's bag so hard it bounced into another tax bracket, and how her co-star Burnap is low-key throwing shades from the sideline. And let me tell you, she didn't just fumble the bag, she set it on fire, threw it into a swamp, and did a TikTok dance on top of the ashes. Let's rewind. The original Snow White dropped in 1937. Classic, timeless, the OG princess, and sure, the prince was a little stalkery. He pulled up singing in the woods like a Disney Drake, but Rachel didn't just call it dated, she straight up roasted the prince, calling him a guy who literally stalks her. I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that? I mean, you know that the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so, there's a big focus on her love story, with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird, so we didn't do that this time and then hit us with all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows, it's Hollywood, baby. It's really not about the love story at all, which is really wonderful, and whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows, it's Hollywood, baby, but it's one of those things. It's an inner journey that she goes on to find her true self, and she meets a lot of people along the way that make the journey really incredible. Excuse me, imagine being his co-star, goes on a press tour dragging your character like he's a Tinder date who ghosted her. And the worst part is that she didn't just roast a prince, she essentially said the entire love story was irrelevant. Meanwhile, Andrew Burnap, a man who has been working hard in theater for years, gets a role in Snow White, thinking it's his big break. Andrew is at hood asking, "Am I a joke to you? I sounded ground outside when I got the call. I thought my life was going to change," said Andrew Burnap, who isn't just any random actor. He actually came up performing Shakespeare and wasn't his true ones when he got cast. And it didn't go as planned, because by the time the film came out, Andrew had been snatched by Thanos from the promotional cycle. There were no adorable behind-the-scenes stories, no red carpet pair photos, nothing. The drama didn't end with Andrew, though, because next in line was Gal Gadot, also known as Wonder Woman or the Evil Queen in this cursed reboot. This is where it goes from oops to girl, what are you doing? Rachel essentially acted like an NPC in her Disney origin story, and some insiders even claimed she wanted his scenes cut because they didn't serve her narrative. Ma'am, this is Snow White, not the Rachel Zegler show. Rachel chose to make a political statement about her support for Palestine while advertising a $270 million Disney film. This was nice, free speech, and everything but the issue. Gal Gadot, who is Israeli, served in the Israeli army. With two leading actresses on opposing sides of a global conflict during a children's film press tour, what could go wrong? Apparently, all of the gals began receiving death threats, so Disney had to call in additional security. Rachel often acts as though she missed the deadline for a collaborative assignment. Producer Mark Platt reportedly flew to New York just to speak with her face-to-face, similar to when your mother tells you that you need to talk, but you know it's because you posted something stupid on Instagram. Add in Rachel's tirade about Trump, and you essentially finished a PR disaster speedrun. She posted that Trump supporters, Trump voters, and Trump himself never knew peace, and then she went on to call them all deep-seated sick. To everyone who hates me, I can only hope that, despite my flaws, cracks, and breaks, there are many of them, that people will line up to see dumbass things at every premiere and everything I do. I've stated that I don't absolve myself of that, and I'm not sitting here saying, please forgive me, I'm 21. Like the stupid I've said and done is stupid, but it's hard and it's lonely, it's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay. And I'm over here like you know who buys Disney tickets, parents, you know who some of them Voted for yeah, now half the country is boycotting Snow White before it even hits theaters. Like I'm living here to discuss politics, but it's just like it's a kids movie. Why are you bringing in politics to a Disney Snow White film? Like it just doesn't make sense. So by the time Snow White dropped, it was already cursed. Theaters were empty. Like Rachel filmed herself going to see her own movie and no one else was there. It was giving sad birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and that clip, it went viral. But not in a good way. Everyone clowned her like she's watching herself bomb in 4K. Wow, people love me. Music. Like imagine showing up to your own movie premiere and the only thing more vacant than the seats is the chemistry with your co-stars. After the flop, Andrew Burnap dropped without making any appearances or interacting with the media. Some fans say he's been low-key trying to scrub the movie from his resume. Can you blame him? He signed up for a fairy tale and got cast in a Greek tragedy. Sources say Andrew even started leaking behind-the-scenes tea, like Rachel allegedly tried to control how the scenes were shot, made edits, wanted a character to be a dominant figure with no prince, no rescue, no romance, just Snow White serving co-energy while the dwarf filed tax in the background. And get this, there's a moment in the movie where Andrew's character says Jonathan Princess by accident, like a little emasculation comedy moment, but people start calling it a Hollywood humiliation ritual. Listen, I don't know if that's true, but it definitely feels like Andrew's role went from romantic lead to walking punchline. Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler's Hollywood rep is in the ICU. Studios are reportedly hesitant to cast her now because she's seen as a liability. Not even controversial, just exhausting. Imagine being the reason Disney shelves future remakes. Tangled was purportedly cancelled after this. For example, Rapunzel was clipped because Snow White couldn't stop tweeting. And if you thought that Rachel and Gal had reconciled after the press store, nope. At the LA premiere, they literally avoided each other like ex-boyfriends at a high school reunion. Gal advertised the film at Disneyland alone, and in her farewell post, Rachel shouted out at everyone except Gal Gad. You know it's bad when you thank the grip guy but forget your co-star. She later stated that there was a lack of understanding behind the scenes, which is Hollywood jargon for, I'm never working with her again. The most crucial aspect of filmmaking is teamwork. And when you have characters like Snow White and the Evil Queen, you expect teamwork to be a part of the creative process when you are trying to put something special together. However, we didn't really have teamwork, and we had to deal with a lot of setbacks during the entire process, which I just found to be really exhausting. So what did we learn here? The audience agreed that we only wanted some singers, animals, and a happy ending, but Disney tried to cook with this remake, and it ended with the fire alarm going off. Rachel Zegler, once positioned as the future of Disney, might have just burned every bridge on the way out, and Andrew Burnap lost his breakthrough role, leaving Galaga with additional trauma. It obviously didn't work out for Rachel in the end. Instead, we got TikTok cringe political chaos and a prince cut from his own film. The movie bombed, the theaters were empty, the audience wasn't buying what Disney was selling, and now they're acting like it never happened. Snow White is being quietly taken out of theaters, yanked off the shelves, and scrubbed from Disney's marketing like a failed group project. There has been no final push, no farewell tour, just radio silence, and the entire country of Lebanon has banned the film completely. It hasn't been postponed, censored, banned, screened, or distributed. No streaming. This wasn't just a PR nightmare, it was a full-scale meltdown. Rachel went from being Disney's next Golden Guild to being the face of one of their biggest modern failures, and now the movie is being buried, her name is being left out of future casting talks, and the rest of Hollywood is closely watching and taking notes on what not to do. So, no, this was a cautionary tale, and Disney just learned the hard way that no amount of CGI press stores or rebranding can save a story that nobody wanted in the first place. I hope you all enjoyed it, and please share your thoughts in the comments section. Comment and subscribe.